Good morning, distinguished guests and participants. Thank you very much for the committee to invite our organizations to be part of the events. My topic today we will be talking on the topic of the essential to know about halal ingredients in Thailand. My name is Kesini Kedlekha from the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University. First of all, I would like to let you know, to let you see that the food that's available in the market, there are several kinds of food that are available in the market. In addition, they also have several kinds of ingredients in it. So in order to produce the halal products, we have to concern some ingredients that may derive from non-halal animals or haram ingredients. For example, glycerins or the gelatin that may be used in the desserts or ice creams or used in the bakeries. Some glycerins or gelatin may be derived from porcines, from pigs, so that we can use in the halal production. In addition, we may concerns on the using of cysteine. Cysteine is amino acids that may be extracted from the human hair or sometimes from the chicken feathers. So we have to concern the source of the cysteine that we are going to use in the production of food. In addition, some ingredients may be derived from blood of animals. So this also not permissible to use in the halal product. So we have to concern, and there are several kinds of ingredients that we have to concern before we are using in the halal productions. In this slide, I would like to show you the process that take place in the food production chains. You can see from the slides that in the food manufacturers, from before the food manufacture, from the farms until to the frogs, we have several steps that in each step they may contain or they may contaminated with the non-permissible substances. According to these slides, at the first step will be the raw materials preparations until the product distributes to the consumer hand. They may have several steps that can be contaminated with things that we not allowed to be incorporated into the halal product. For example, so that's why it is very important for the food manufacturers to implement it with the safety management system. For examples, they may implement with the halal standards. Also, in addition, they may complement it with the halal forensics laboratories, or they may implement it with the halal standardizations. What is the halal standardizations? The halal standardizations means that the practical protocol that we implemented to identify the critical haram points. In order to produce the halal product, we have to identify which step that may be critical point that we have to control, or we have to eliminate it all out of from the production line, so that after we implement it with appropriate system, so we will have the final product, which is ready to be applied for the Halal certifications. In Thailand, we have a SIGOT, which is the organization, which is the authorized organizations working for Halal certifications in Thailand. So in this slide, I would like to show you that sometimes you may see some chemical ingredients that here in the bottom of the slides, the chemicals ingredients, you may not know that these chemicals compound may be derived from. For example, they may derive from the raw material. For examples of this slide, these chemicals derive from the cassawas. The cassava is halal and also permissible to use in a halal food. However, you may not know that in order to get these chemicals or these substances, we have to use bacteria in order to extract these chemicals compounds. And to grow the bacteria, they may use the culture medium which contains enzyme from porcine. So I just want to say that there are several complexities in order to get one chemical compound to be used in the food manufacturers. So for halal production, so that's why we have to take considerations for the origin source of the chemicals compound that we are going to use. So that's why we have to have protections systems in order to assure that the chemicals compound or the substance that we are using is halal, is permissible to use in halal product. So we have to have the tools or the scientific tools that we can track out the origin source of the ingredients that we are using. In the regarding to the laboratories in Halal Science Center of Chulalongkorn University, we developed the laboratories based on the macromolecules, lipids, DNA, and proteins. For the DNA technique, we have several laboratory instruments, for example, and techniques. For example, we have a PGM, we have a nanodrop, we have a real-time PCR. In order to get to know the information of the origin source of the ingredients or in the contaminations of the small amounts of something that is not permissible to use in a halal food in the products. So we have to develop a new method, new sensitive method, and this is the facility that we have in the Halal Science Center of Chulalongkorn University. And we also developed the method based on the lipid. In this method, we will know the fingerprints of the lipids, so we can differentiate the lipids come from animals and the lipid that come from plants. The fatty acids come from plants. So we have GC, MS in order to get the information for consumer protections. In addition, we also develop the protein-based method because, for examples of gelatin or enzymes or hormone used in the during the production of the food, they may contain some elements of proteins. So we also develop the proteins based method for determinations the contamination. So for example, using calorimetry, which is a very simple method of we have a higher instrument laboratories instrument, for example, using LC TOF MS. So, and from 2004 until now, we have more than 150 laboratory analysis that we have. This information is very important, very crucial for develop a new project for assurance in the contaminations or in to provide information for Halal system. And the laboratory analysis, then the techniques that we use or the techniques that we develop is already published in the Halal food productions books and also in the journals of food protections. So the more informations will be shown in the papers. In this slide, I would like to present the general requirements for the food additive, and because for today we are going to focus on the use of the food additive in the food manufacture. First of all, I would like to focus on the general requirements for the food additive and other added chemicals into Halal food. These general requirements established by OIC CIMIC last year. Thailand is non member countries of OIC, but we are observer and we have invited to be part of the developments, part of the technical committee to working together for the development of these general requirements and other related general requirements. And these requirements is already published and last year. So for today, I would like to talking about these general requirements. The first is the scopes that these requirements are stated. These standards set the requirements and the condition needed for food additive and any other added chemicals compound, for example, chemical compound that's used for processing aids or flavorings or adds nutrients or enzymes that used during the productions to ensure that the final product is halal and is safe to consumers in OIC countries and all over the world. And in this requirement is also defines the halal status of the food additive in foodstuff intended for human consumptions. It sets a list of the dog food and non-halal food additive and the needed actions for each of them. In these requirements, we do not apply to the following substance. First is the substances that used for the protections of plants or and plant products. And secondly, will not apply for the extraction solvents that used in the productions of foodstuff and food ingredients. And in addition, is also do not apply for the food contact substance and the indirect food additive. So first of all, what is the food additive mentioned in these general requirements? The food additive is the substance that not normally consumed as a food by itself and not normally used as a typical ingredients of the food, whether or not it has nutritive values. The intentional additions of which to food for a technological purpose in the manufactures, processing, preparations, treatment, packaging, transport, and holdings of such foods results. Or may be reasonably expected to result in it or its byproducts becoming the components of otherwise affecting the characteristics of such food. So what is the halal food additive? It is the food additive which are derived from halal ingredients and free of non-halal components from their manufacturing process to their packaging. And the tofu food additive is the food additive with two or more sources, of which at least one of them is halal or other are questionable according to the Islamic laws. Non-halal food additive is food additive which are obtained from non-halal animal sources or where non-halal or najis materials are used during their manufacturing process. In addition, they also mentions on the other added chemical, for example. They also mentions on the other added chemicals. It is the substance that add to food other than the main food materials. In the general requirements, given the fact that non-safe food would not be considered as halal, the food additive and the other add chemical which are provided, which are proved to be carcinogenic or harmful to human bodies are considered as non-halal and shall not be used. This concludes all the list additive with respect to scientific report, and only additive that are authorized by the codex shall be adopted for halal foods if they are complying with OIC CIMIC 1 and Islamic rules. And in addition, food additive and other as chemicals which may cause harm to the human body shall be under the maximum allowed limit. The maximum use limit shall comply with the national regulations, and the maximum allowed use limit shall be considered as a halal critical points in all halal inspections and certification activities. And the producer who intended to obtain halal certificate shall check the source of food additive and other add chemicals used in the productions of halal food. This can be done by showing proof of conformities to the halal requirements of OIC CIMIC 1, such as valid halal certificates or laboratory test analysis reports. For any chemical used during the manufacturing of the food additive and other added chemicals. In the case of use of a halal certificate as a proof of conformities, the certificate shall be a valid certificate issued from halal certification body which conform to OIC CIMIC 2 standard. The halal certifications body shall ensure that all chemicals used in and during the manufacturing process of the food additive and other add chemicals are halal according to OIC CIMIC 1. In addition, the halal status of the food additive is given in the Annex B, and I will give you later. If a food additive is described as doubtful, then a proof of conformities of the halal requirements of OIC CIMIC 1 is compulsory. Food additives which are described as non-halal shall not be used under any circumstance. It is the responsibilities of the halal certifications body to check the halal standard, the halal status of all non-mentioned materials and record them in the most appropriate way. So they also focus on some additive, for examples of colorants that may have a problem of using alcohol. They state that some food additive, for example, are usually colorants and other added chemical needs and organic solvent, for example, of alcohol. it is permissible to use alcohol under the following conditions. First, the food additive and the other added chemicals cannot be dissolved in any other solvent which does not cause intoxication. Secondly, the alcohol shall be used in the minimum amount required to dissolve the chemicals. And lastly, the alcohol amount shall not cause euphoria to the persons who consume it, or less than 0.5 BAC or 0.5% weight by volume or weight by weight of the final product. So, and enzymes or the flour or other chemicals produced by using biotechnology techniques shall be produced on Halal culture media, and all enzymes or GMO used shall be free from non-Halal energy materials. They also state on the specific requirement for flavorings used to be used in the Halal productions food. The use of the flavorings in food shall not lead the unsafe levels of their intakes according to the national regulations, and the flavorings should be of a purity suitable for use in food, and unavoidable impurities shall not be present in the final food at level that would pose an unacceptable risk to health. And the use of the flavorings is justified only where they impart or modify flavors to food, provided that such use does not mislead the consumer about the natures or the qualities of food. And the flavorings should be used under the conditions of good manufacturing practice, which includes the limiting the quantities used in food to the lowest level necessary to accomplish the desired flavoring effects. The flavorings may contain other substances which are necessary for their production, storage, handlings, and use. Such substances may also be used to facilitate the dilutions, dissolutions, or dispersions of flavorings in food. Such non-flavoring substances should be limited to the lowest level required to ensure the safety and the qualities of the flavorings, and to facilitate their storage and ease of use. And the maximum use limit shall comply with the national regulations. And the non-flavoring food ingredients shall fulfill the Halal requirements for the food additive. The flavoring agent which mimic non-Halal products are considered as non-Halal as well, even if it is produced from Halal materials. For example, different pig meat flavors, liqueurs, and champagne flavors. Flour shall not come from non-Halal sources or process. And natural meat and chicken flavors and stock shall only be produced from the Halal animal slaughters according to Islamic law. And this is the picture show the atmosphere during the developments of these general requirements last 2 years. So let's see what we have done in Thailand. In Thailand, we collect the information from the food additive manufacturers and from the related manufacturers in Thailand, and we have found that there is about 92% of food additive according to the codex that have been used in Thailand. And according to our working, we are classified into 3 groups, including of the Halals, halal ingredient, halal food additive, the dog food or mushroom food additive, and the haram food additive. And for the food additive, which is lined into the mushroom ingredients, the mushroom or the dog food ingredients means that they may derive from more than one source of origin. For example, they may derive from plants, but in the same way, they may derive from the animal as well. So this compound will be categorized into the dog food or mushroom ingredients. Uh, After reviewing the information, the scientific laboratory informations, we for the mushroom ingredients, we we for the mushroom ingredients, after reviewing the document related to their productions, the halal certifications from the trusted organizations has been considered, because we have to consider the halal certifications from the trusted organizations in order to identify the source of the origins for this group. So in this group, the food additive that have the halal certifications will be categorized into the group of halal by certificates. It means that in order to use food additive in this group, we have to seek for the halal certifications at first. And for the food additive that have not been the certificate from any countries or any organizations, so they will still be in the mushroom ingredients. So we have to encourage the scientists to do working more in order to get to know the information of some ingredients that still until now they still uh, not known how to identify the source of it. This is the book that we are proud to present. This is the we call Halal numbers or H number Halal Haram mushroom ingredient list, which we are proudly to present. Regarding to this book, this is the information from Thailand. We have 106 and 64 numbers of the food additive that are halal. That are halal. This group, this additive, this is the meeting between our sides, the scientists from the Chulalongkorn University, and we work together with the Majlis Ulama of Thailand in order to identify item by item, in order to prove that all of them are halal and can be used according to Islamic law. So we have 154 food ingredients, and this is the crucial information that we summarize, and I think it is very important and necessary for you to understand to get more information about the provision from the religion faith from the meetings. The chemicals or the substance that the summarize of is that the chemicals or substance that are derived from plants and does not be extracted by alcohol or yeast are permissible to use as the halal food additives. In Arabic words we call mubah, and group of substances that are extracted by ethyl alcohol or ethanol. According to Shafi'i school of thought, although this kind of alcohol is not used to make intoxicants, it can be intoxicant itself, so it is viewed as najis and it is not permissible to consume at all. In case the alcohol is used in the production process, it needs to be evaporated until there is no alcohol left or only very small amount of left that will not cause intoxications and toxics. It should be noted that the alcohol is used because using other substance might cause harms and there is no other substance to replace it. In this case, it is permissible to use alcohol due to necessarily, which is the rule. This lies under the conditions that if there is no other solution besides alcohol with better qualities and less toxic in the future, that solutions must be used instead. In addition, substances which are forbidden to use in Thailand or are not permissible to use in industry in some country or are forbidden to use as remedies. The concern for the safety in using these substances depends on case to case. They are thus be considered as doubtful, including E527, E924, E952, and 954. Also, in addition, the lysozymes may be found in the components of animal tissue. So in the meeting, the lysozyme will be halal if we can identify its source. However, from the meeting, the lysozyme may be found in some components of the animal origin. So it's considered as halal certificate. Is considered according to the halal certification. And this is the lawful food ingredients in food additives that list in the halal number books. We can categorize them into 6 groups. The first one is the color that derived from insects, for example, carmine. In the case of carmine, by the general requirements established by the CIMICs that we're talking before, they consider carmine as haram ingredients and are not permissible to use in halal products. The second group will be the glycerines because, as we say, that glycerin can be derived from petroleum manufacturers or sometimes can be derived extractions from the processed animals. And the third group will be the ester from fatty acids and the sorbitants and its derivative also have to consider it more. And the edible bone phosphate also adult food additives and food additive inosinic acids and its derivative also adult food status. For examples of the fatty acid that used in the productions of the food additive, mostly they are used as the emulsifier or stabilizer in many kinds of food products during the use as a processing aid in many kinds of products. For example, acetylated monodiglycerides or propylene glycol ester or lactic acid ester or mono or lactoglycerides. These additive may be synthesized by using the ester acid or the fatty acids which may be come from animals. In order to use this kind of food additive, so we have to consider the halal certifications, and we have to sure that they're not derived from the non-halal animals. As well as the inosinic acid, also the edible bone phosphate. They also these chemicals are used as food additive, and the edible bone phosphate is used as the anti-caking agents in some food, but the problem is that they may derive from the animals, and the there is a suggestion to the manufacturer to seek for the halal certifications from the producer in order to confirm that the inosinic acid that you are using is not originated from the haram animals. This is the ingredients, the additive, the food additive that still have a still doubtful status until we can clarify their origin, so that the status will be upgrade into the halal or halal by certifications. Otherwise, they will be classified as the doubtful ingredients, and we are not suggestions to the consumer to use or to consume the product contain with these ingredients. And not only the book that we are published H number books, we also develop the applications that contains every information that we have in book, also in the app search app. So this is the QR code that available for iOS and Androids. And from the H numbers projects books and applications, we got the awards from the public sectors, from the governments last year. And finally, I would like to invite you all to participate in our International Halal Science Technology Conference, which will be held on in December, in this December. So you may contact us via these websites or these numbers, and you can email me directly. Thank you very much for today's, and any problems you may leave by these emails. Thank you very much.